The Speaker uses the words cover up. The president walks out. A political drama played out in Washington today as President Trump demanded that congressional Democrats give up on investigations and any consideration of an impeachment inquiry. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi did not call for impeachment proceedings today as she left a closed-door meeting with House Democrats, but she had a firm message.
And we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up.
Hours later, in the Rose Garden, President Trump reacted.
I don't do cover-ups.
He accused Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of, in effect, bad faith before what was supposed to be a White House meeting about infrastructure, and added he won't work with Democrats on that issue or anything else until investigations into him ceased.
I want to do infrastructure, but you know what? You can't do it under these circumstances. So get these phony investigations over with.
Back at the Capitol, Pelosi and Schumer responded.
He just took a pass, and it just makes me wonder why he did that. In any event, I pray for the President of the United States.
We are interested in doing infrastructure. It's clear the President isn't. He is looking for every excuse.
On impeachment, House Democrats are split. Some, like California's Maxine Waters, who's part of the leadership, favor it.
I'm for impeachment. I've always been for impeachment. I've never backed up. I've never changed my mind. I think he should be impeached.
But others, like House Oversight Chair Elijah Cummings of Maryland, are less eager.
Let's stay the course. Let's continue to look to the courts to provide the remedies with regard to getting us the information that we need to do our jobs.
The Trump administration is pushing back on multiple investigations, including requests by Congress for the president's tax returns. The Washington Post reported yesterday that a confidential Internal Revenue Service memo says tax returns must be given to Congress unless executive privilege is invoked. Before the House Financial Services Committee today, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said the memo doesn't contradict the Treasury's reason for withholding the returns. He argues the release request does not have a legislative purpose.
That memo, I understand, is addressing a different issue and is not addressing the issue that we in the Department of Justice looked at.
In New York, meanwhile, state lawmakers passed a bill that would give Congress access to the president's state tax returns if the IRS does not release them in full. And there was one area of cooperation between Congress and the executive branch. The House Intelligence Committee says it reached a deal with the Justice Department to turn over some underlying intelligence documents from the Mueller report. Still later, a federal judge in New York moved swiftly in a ruling to uphold Congress's power to subpoena financial records from banks doing business with the president. And our congressional correspondent, Lisa Desjardins, joins me now. Lisa, you've been reporting on this all day. What do we know about what happened at that meeting at the White House?
The best readout we've gotten so far is from Democrats who were there. And what Democrats say happened is the president walked in, he spoke to them for exactly 3 minutes, and he told them that he wants to do infrastructure. He also wants a deal on trade and some other items, but that given Speaker Pelosi's comments today, which he called terrible, accusing him of a cover-up, and the Democratic investigations, he says it's not possible and he cannot work with them. He walked out before they could sit down, and that was the end of the meeting.
So we're reporting on this. Democratic leaders saying they're not prepared to begin an impeachment inquiry, but they do have some kind of plan. So right. What are you hearing?
That was the news from before the meeting with the president. Here's what happened after Democrats met this morning. Speaker Pelosi said this is what they are doing now. Democrats seem to generally be on board this idea for now. So here's what's happening. There are 5 House Democratic committees that are investigating the president in various areas. Some include the Mueller report. Others include his financial dealings. They will be having hearings, subpoenas being issued. And if those subpoenas are not complied with, as we are seeing so far they have not been. Democrats are counting on court action. Now, they are considering what's called inherent contempt of Congress. That is a power that Congress has on its own to arrest someone even or issue fines for those who do not cooperate with their investigations. It has not been used since 1935. Speaker Pelosi told members today that it is on the table. The message here, Judy, is have faith in the process that we've begun, even as some members would like to go farther now. Pelosi was able to bring down the temperature in the room, and these court action today especially helps her argument for this longer process.
So that's what the leaders are saying. How are Republicans, Democrats down the line responding to all this?
These two stories are highly connected. Of course, the president saying that the investigations are the reasons that he will not cooperate with Democrats. Democrats say that they think that this exposes a weak point on the part of the president. They also believe, Democrats, that this was a setup, that the president was not able to deal on infrastructure because the truth is it is a difficult issue for Republicans to pay for a $2 trillion infrastructure deal. Democrats believe the president went into that meeting looking for an excuse to get out of the infrastructure deal he had agreed to tentatively before. Republicans, on the other hand, say it's Nancy Pelosi who was goading the president when she said that he's involved in a cover-up, a crime. Very strong words. Some Republicans, though, Judy, are having a difficult time with this. I spoke to John Cornyn of Texas, the senator, who said, I understand why the president feels as he does, but we do have a duty to do our jobs. And he's hopeful that the president actually engages on at least some topics soon. That remains to be seen.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, the president is saying, I'm not going to talk to you about anything. I'm not going to negotiate on anything as long as you are investigating me, thinking about impeachment. So what real world effect do they think this is going to have right now?
I think this is the most important question. There are many issues really kind of ready for action in Congress right now and needing action. Let's look at a few. First of all, hurricane, fire, and flood relief, much of that from last year, billions of dollars waiting for action. There had hoped to be a deal this week. It looks like that may be slipping away. There are also approaching budget cuts later this year, and there was a potential deal this week also getting toward a deal in that. That seems to also be slipping away. There also is a lot of talk about doing something on healthcare and prescription drug costs on a bipartisan way. But if the president is not engaging on these topics, it creates a problem for everyone. Some important reporting from our Yamiche Alcindor. White House aides told her that the president will engage on some things, like, for example, keeping government open. But I think we need to see day by day how the president handles this, how he deals with Democrats. Today, he didn't want to deal with them at all.
So interesting and fast-moving. Lisa Desjardins, thank you.
You're welcome.